Shall I continue, Sensei? Or
Yes,
maybe...
please continue. If there is no other question.
Okay,
to
so
the
I think
8 elements of faith, which is to not mix Nembutsu and devotion towards Amida Buddha with other faiths and practices from inside or outside of the Buddha Dharma.
Okay. So first of all, right from the get-go, Yosho Sensei puts here that if we truly believe in Amida Buddha, we should not believe in the gods of the monotheist religions like Islam, Judaism, or Christianity. Yes? I will quote Master Shinran in the Jodo Shinshu, chapter 6. He says, based on the true intent of the Buddha's teaching and the expositions made and transmitted by the masters of the past, I will clarify that the path of sages is provisional and that the Pure Land path is true, and caution people against non-Buddhist teachings which are perverted, false, and wrong. So these are very strong words, yes, and as we have discussed several times here with Joshua Sensei, Shinran was not into the business of being politically correct or in the business of pleasing people, yes. He was not telling people things to please them, yes, to please their egos, yes, or to never correct wrong points of view. Yes, the role of a Jodo Shinshu teacher is also to present the teaching of the primal vow as it was transmitted by the masters of our tradition and the words of the sutras and shastras, and to correct wrong points of view. It's one of the duties of a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist teacher. Okay, so Master Shinran is telling us that the Pure Land path is true and caution people against non-Buddhist teachings, which are perverted, false, and wrong. Why are they perverted, false, and wrong? Because any samsaric religion that is taught by these angelic beings or celestial beings or pretas or even demons are actually beings who are still trapped in samsara. Yes? We know who they are, yes, because we know the law of cause and effect. Yes, this is one of the beautiful and useful things about the Buddha Dharma. We can understand all other spiritual traditions and we can put them in their place. Yes, we know who they are because we know that these spirits that talk about exclusion devotion towards them, sacrifices of blood, wars, egocentric battles, being jealous, like the God of the Bible says that he's a jealous God, or Allah who claims that other people that do not believe in him are considered animals or beasts or demons and they should be killed. Okay, these kinds of attitudes.
We have such. We can show some passages. I show some passages from the Quran in one of my books in a chapter related with powerful, hungry spirits who want to dominate other people, to want to dominate sentient beings through religion. So I will put the link into the description so that you can see the passages that Kosho Sensei is talking about.
Yes, please read that article. It is also translated into Spanish. I think it's also some of it is quoted here, if I am not mistaken.
It's yes, it's a part of my book, The Four Profound Thoughts, which turns the mind towards Amida Dharma, in the chapter related with the suffering of samsara. After I describe the suffering of various hungry ghosts, I go to the most powerful hungry ghosts who suffer from who have a hunger for attention. They are a special type of hungry ghosts which are called gyalpos, and Vasubandhu also wrote about them, and he said they are powerful ghosts who have a glory similar to the gods due to some of their past good karma, but they suffer from hunger for attention. And we can see such behavior in the so-called God of the monotheist religion, especially Islam, Christianity, Judaism. Yes, please. Continue.
Yes.
Please. Yes, Gregory.
Tell me again which book that you
it's
were
the Four Profound Thoughts, which turns the mind towards Amida Dharma.
Okay.
Go to chapter on hungry ghosts in the chapter related with samsara to the end of the chapter on pretas. And there you will find a special subchapter, okay, related with the powerful pretas. Yes.
Thank you. Mhm.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is a very important chapter, and I encourage all of you to read the entire book if you can. If not, you can also find it as an article in the Amidaji website in Spanish and also in the Spanish website. It's a very important article. And as Yosho Sensei says, these beings are not even part of the heavenly realms of samsara, which these gods truly exist. Yes, and they have some limited good karma. However, the very sad thing about this story is that human beings are actually worshiping subhuman beings, or let's call it beings in a lower realm of existence, because these guys are actually very powerful, but they are part of the preta realm, or the realm
sorry. Also, gods like Brahma, for example, they don't need sacrifice. They don't need to receive offerings of burned flesh, you know. That's not, or blood offerings. They don't need such things. And usually pretas are those who are very much in close contact with the human realm. And this is why they sometimes try to fool practitioners to submit to their will. And they have a very imperialist attitude, you see. They want to be worshipped, only them. They want to be, or this is why, you know, pretas usually suffer from various types of hunger. Some people who are stingy, they can become pretas who suffer from hunger and thirst. You are always hungry for food or water. But other pretas suffer from need of attention. That's another form of hunger.
Yes, thank you, Sensei. Yes, indeed, these pretas are very dangerous because most of them are most powerful than some of them are more powerful than most humans, because they master siddhis, or in their past life, maybe they were great spiritual practitioners or meditation, but of course they were possessed by pride and greed. Yes, but they have mixed karma. So this mixed karma of very positive karma created by practice of meditation or contemplation created these beings that are actually in a lower realm, but with high mental capacities that allow them to have spiritual powers, and they can actually fool and dominate even the vast majority of human beings. And
yes, Tibetan Buddhism, for example, is filled with stories of great practitioners being fooled by gyalpos. Yeah.
Yes, and these people, and these gyalpos can even disguise themselves as bodhisattvas, and they can impart the false teachings, and they can do many things to guide people.
They appear in vision. They have this thing. They like to appear in vision to people.
I will also quote here another passage by Shinran. He says, "Those who take refuge truly and wholeheartedly, freeing themselves from all delusional attachment, and all concern with the propitious and unpropitious, must never take refuge in false spirit and non-Buddhist teachings." And this, of course, makes sense. This is why Shinran Shonin says that samsaric religions and all of these non-spiritual, non-Buddhist paths are actually perverse and evil. Why? Because if you believe in samsaric beings, you will end up eventually in samsara again. Okay, so a being that is still possessed, yes, by greed, by anger, and by egocentric attitudes, if you entrust yourself to one of these beings, you will become like them, and you will still be trapped in samsara, and you will be dying and dying again in samsara. So the only way to be liberated from samsara is to believe in someone who is outside of samsara. This is actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the only beings who are actually outside of the 6 realms of samsaric existence are the Buddhas. Yes. I will read here some passages of Master Shinran, who quoted by many Mahayana sutras defending his position that we should, as Buddhists, never take refuge in other non-Buddhist deities or samsaric beings. No, he says, Here, based on the sutras, the true and the false are determined, and people are cautioned against the wrong, false, and misleading opinions of non-Buddhist teachings. The Nirvana Sutra states, if one has taken refuge in the Buddha, one must not further take refuge in various gods. The Sutra of the Samadhi of all Buddhas present states, take refuge in the Buddha yourself, take refuge in the Dharma, take refuge in the Sangha. Do not serve other teachings, do not worship the devas, do not enshrine spirits, do not hit days considered lucky. In other words, taking refuge in magic and astrology and all of these things. Further, it states, must not worship devas or enshrine spirits. So in other words, according to the teachings of the sutras themselves of Shakyamuni and Master Shinran, we should never combine our devotion in the general Mahayana with non-Buddhist teachings. Very important. Yes. And further on, we should abandon all other provisional teachings and only focus all other provisional Buddhist teachings and only focus on the Nembutsu faith. So the path towards the primal vow, it has two steps. First, to abandon all samsaric religions and only focus on the Mahayana Buddhism. And then among all of the medicines or the Dharma gates of the Mahayana, only focus on the primal vow of Amida Buddha. So we should discard first all other samsaric religions and then all other paths that are not related with the primal vow. Yes. So as Yosho Sensei says here, also as devotees of Amida Buddha's primal vow, we will never mix Nembutsu with other practices from inside or outside of Buddha Dharma, but focus exclusively on Amida Buddha and his name. Yes, as says here Honen Shonin, he says, with your whole heart, look forward expectantly to birth in the Pure Land, worship and bear in mind the Buddha of infinite light, and don't think about anything else, nor perform any other spiritual practices. Okay? So, of course, we should abandon any samsaric religions because we are Buddhists. And once we abandon all other samsaric religions, we should focus on the Nembutsu and never combine it with any other kind of practice. You know, Honen Shonin and Shinran, they were great Tendai monks before preaching about the primal vow exclusively, you know. And they knew many practices about, for example, Yakushi Nyorai, the Buddha of medicine. And they knew many dharanis and mantras because as part of their training, since they were children, they were instructed in the Mikyu or many esoteric practices of the Tendai. Yes. So, but however, even when they fell ill, even when they had trouble, they never came or they never practiced something different than the primal vow. Okay. Even if they knew many dharanis and many mantras and many other esoteric practices for recovering health, they only focused on the Nembutsu. So they are giving us an example. Yes. Even if there are so many tantric practices for all kinds of purposes, or so much variety. For example, in Tibetan Buddhism or in Mahayana, there are so many sutras, so many dharani, so many things. They only focused on simple faith in Amida Buddha. Why? Because saying the name of Amida Buddha according to the primal vow is all about exclusivity. Yes, the way that Master Seikaku and Master Shinran said. The Nembutsu is only about saying the name of Amida Buddha without combining it with anything else. Okay. So as Yosho Sensei says, to say the name of Amida Buddha and not the name of other Buddhas or religious figures outside Buddhism, to have faith only in Amida Buddha and wish to be born in his Pure Land, not in the land of other Buddhas. This is very important. Okay. For example, you can have devotion towards all the Buddhas because when you have devotion towards Amida Buddha and you worship Amida Buddha by saying his name, you will automatically worship all the Buddhas in the 10 directions. Okay, so if you see an image of Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, or Padmasambhava, you can naturally say Namo Amida Buddha, yeah, and bow to them, and they will be happy that you do it because you are following the primal vow and you are doing what they are telling you to do. Remember that all Buddhas in the universe, they praise those who entrust themselves to Amida Buddha. Yes. So when you see many Buddhist statues, you can say Namo Amida Buddha. Yes, you don't have to say the mantra of Avalokiteshvara or the mantra of all other Buddhas. Only by saying the name of Amida Buddha that contains the blessings and the powers of all the names of all other Buddhas, and by entrusting yourself to Amida Buddha and wishing to be born in his Pure Land after death, then you will attain the objective of all the Mahayana, which is to become a Buddha yourself. Yes. Whereas if you start to say many mantras and you start to say the name of many Buddhas, you are not pleasing the wishes of the Buddhas. Yes, because the Buddhas want you to become enlightened as soon as possible. Yes, and by worshiping many Buddhas, your mind gets scattered. Yes, and distracted. Is what you have to do is to focus only in one thing, only in Amida Buddha, only on saying his name and wishing to be born in his Pure Land after death. Okay.
When we say that all Buddhas praise Amida Buddha, we rely on the 17th vow of Amida Buddha, in which Amida Buddha himself promised that all Buddhas will say his name, will praise his name. All Buddhas will praise my name. This is what Amida Buddha says. So on this vow we rely when we say that all Buddhas praise Amida's name. They praise it because Amida's name is the easiest method to fulfill the wishes of all Buddhas, which is for all beings to be born in the Pure Land. All beings without any difference between them.
So as Jodo Sensei says here, among all the Pure Lands in the 10 directions, we choose to go to the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. And from among all the Buddhas in the 10 directions, we choose to entrust and to say the name of Amida Buddha only. Why is this so? Because we want to be in accordance with the primal vow, and because all Buddhas, even though they are equally enlightened as Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida, they haven't created a Pure Land in which we can be born. Okay? There are many other Pure Lands, like Sandal Palri, the land of Lapis Lazuli, Avirati, many Pure Lands. However, in these Pure Lands, only arahats or enlightened beings or beings who are very close to enlightenment can be born there through their self-power. These Buddhas don't have a vow, like the primal vow of Amida Buddha, that allows ordinary and evil beings like us to be born there. Yes. So in our case, we go to Amida Buddha's Pure Land and we choose to dedicate our lives to the primal vow because this is the only path that is available to us. Yes. That is not to say that all other Pure Lands are not good or that all Dharma gates are not good. All Dharma gates and Pure Lands are beautiful and good on themselves. However, we only choose to be born in the Pure Land of Amida Buddha because it's the only option for us. And because also it's the most effective method in all the Mahayana. Yes. Even great bodhisattvas will also want to be born in Amida Buddha's Pure Land because they know that they will attain enlightenment quicker there. Okay. Then I will also read here Master Renyo. This is a very good passage, I think, from the Ofumi, from the letters. Master Renyo says, when we inquire in detail as to why it is that Amida's primal vow surpasses the compassionate vows of other Buddhas, we realize that the Buddhas of the 10 directions are unable to save sentient beings with extremely deep evil karma, or women, who are burdened with the 5 obstacles and the 3 submissions. Hence, it is said that Amida Buddha's primal vow surpasses other Buddhas' vows. Yes? So beings who have deep evil karma, and of course women who have many obstacles when they want to become nuns, because they have to abandon their families, and also because women tend to be more attached to children and their emotions, so they have extra obstacles to overcome. And also because we are also foolish beings who are unable to attain enlightenment through self-power. Yes, so we are burdened with lots of heavy obstacles. Yes, so the only Buddha that made a vow to take to enlightenment beings such as us, yes, so wretched and foolish and evil like us, is Amida Buddha. Yes, okay, so there is no other Buddha that surpasses Amida Buddha's primal vow, at least currently. Amida Buddha's primal vow is the most effective means of the Mahayana. Okay. Among all Buddhas, only Amida established a spiritual country, let's say, of the Pure Land, enlightened realm, where it is easy to emigrate. Yes, as Renyo said, it was Amida Tathagata who alone made an unsurpassed, incomparable vow, the great vow that he would save ordinary beings burdened with evils and offenses, and women burdened by the 5 obstacles. Yes, okay, the 5 obstacles of women are being submitted or have submission, or being under the power or under the influence of their fathers, their brothers, their children, These are the 5 obstacles. I don't remember the precise order, yes? But these are the many obstacles that women have to practice the Dharma, yes? And we can even see it nowadays. In most countries, women have extra obstacles to practice the Dharma. Even nowadays in Tibet, Nepal, in Thailand, women don't have the same rights as men, and it's very difficult for them to practice the Buddha Dharma, yes? But on the other hand, in this Dharma ending age, we women and men are equally on the same boat here, because even if we went to a monastery and to practice, that doesn't guarantee that we will attain enlightenment, because we won't be able to practice the self-power path for the attainment of enlightenment. Okay, so equally men or women in this last Dharma age are almost the same, yes, because they have the same karmic obstacles, and regardless of the spiritual path they choose, they will fail, yes, because according to the sutras, in this last Dharma age, the only path that is available for us sentient beings who cannot even keep moral precepts, the only path that is effective still is the primal vow of Amida Buddha. All other paths are only provisional, are only creating good connections with the Dharma, but they will most certainly not lead you towards the attainment of nirvana in one life. Okay? So in the 10 directions, there are countless Buddha lands. We should aspire to be born in the Western land of Amida Buddha, because as beings who have committed the 5 deadly sins, it is only the Pure Land in which we can be born. Yes. So the Pure Land of Amida Buddha is accessed even by criminals, even by people who have killed their own mother and father, even by people who have killed nuns and monks. Yes, even by people who have burned sutras, who have committed the most grave offenses, that with otherwise, if they are left at the mercy of their own karma, they will be liable to fall into hell. Yes, even these people who are so evil can entrust themselves to Amida Buddha and go to the Pure Land. Yes, even by committing these 5 grave offenses. No other Dharma gate can do this for you. Not even Tantra. Yes, and no other Dharma gate.
Of course, after when one entrusts to Amida Buddha, he can no longer insult the Buddhas. He can no longer destroy or negate Mahayana sutras or slander other Buddhas, because so those things are done in the past, were done in the past by a person without faith. But if you are left at the mercy of your own karma, then if you did those things in the past, even in this life, then you automatically have to expiate them through many lives of suffering, including by being born in hell. But when you entrust to Amida Buddha, all your evil karma is burned, and it cannot plant its seeds into another life. And a person of faith will naturally have reverence towards all Buddhas, Mahayana teachings, Mahayana sutras, and so on. So he can't do those things. Yes. Sorry, Kosho, for interruption.
Yes, of course. This is very important, because it doesn't mean that if you truly have faith, then that becomes a thing from the past, and your life is now changed. And even if you are a sinner, you still commit mundane sins, but you never slander the Dharma.
Yes. No? So it's impossible to be a person of faith in Amida Buddha and say that the Mahayana sutras are not genuine, or slander other Buddhas, or deny the law of cause and effect, or burning temples. You can't burn or destroy Buddhist temples if you have faith in Amida Buddha. It's impossible.
Yes, it doesn't make sense. It's only logical that if you have faith in Amida Buddha, you will respect the general Mahayana. You have devotion towards other Buddhas, yes, but all Buddhas. Okay.
Even the Pali Canon you respect. You cannot burn or insult Pali Canon. It's impossible. Yes.
Honen Shonin also said, I'm reading here from page 65, continuing with this topic. He said, it is a general rule that those who wish to be born in a particular land ought to follow the vow of the Buddha who established that country, or that Pure Land, in other words. Thus, those who wish to be born in the Western land of Amida Buddha should follow his fundamental vow. It is actually very simple, yes? But if you want to be born in Amida Buddha's Pure Land, you have to follow the instructions of the one who created that Pure Land, and the one who created the vehicle towards the being born in that Pure Land. Okay, so as we constantly say, Amida Buddha is the creator of the destination and the creator of the vehicle. Okay, so we should follow the instructions of the people who created the vehicle. It's like you buy a car. Yes, you cannot jump into a car and say, okay, this is what I wanted to be. No, you have to follow the manual. Yes, you have to read the instructions. So the primal vow is the same. It's like a vehicle, but the vehicle has instructions. Okay, you should listen to the Buddha Dharma and the teachings of Shinran and the teachings of those who understand the primal vow and also the larger sutra, and you should only follow the instructions of the primal vow. Okay, if you do that, then you are in accordance with the design, yes, of Amida Buddha, yes, and in that way you are following his instructions, and therefore you will be born in that land. Okay, because it's all the design of Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha is like an engineer, so he designs everything for us, and we should only accept it and follow his instructions. Okay, for being born in other Pure Lands, yes, you have to follow the instructions of those Buddhas. Yes, there are visualizations that are especially designed to be born in other Pure Lands. Okay, other practices, other mantras, even dharanis. Being born in other Pure Lands is very difficult. Yes, many people try it, many people fail. Yes, there have been many people throughout history that have wanted to be born in other Pure Lands, and it's more difficult because therefore you have to be a saint yourself, and you should be an accomplished in meditation and other practices, and you should be very, very close to sainthood, at least an arahat. In our case, Amida Buddha doesn't require people who are born in his Pure Lands to be spiritual teachers, not even particularly good. Even evil and foolish beings can be born in the Pure Land. No other Dharma gate offers that. Okay. So another thing that Yosho Sensei says here is that we have no time here in this unpredictable world where death can occur at any time to understand, to check, or to combine diverse religious practices at once. This is extremely important. Yes, because nowadays, especially in the famous Buddhist magazines, many people who are very much fashionable Buddhists, they want to combine everything. They want to combine this sutra with this dharani, and they end up, yes, they are Buddhist, and they start to combine all Dharma gates. This will be like a person jumping into a pharmacy, and the pharmacy is, of course, filled to the brim with medicine, and medicines are good. However, if you take the medicines and you start drinking and eating them all at once, then you can die. You can die through medicine. But medicine in the hands of a foolish attitude becomes poison. Yes, so it's very important for us to understand that when you go into the pharmacy of the Buddhas, the Buddha Dharma, you have many options, many things that you can do, many Dharma gates. Okay, but you should follow the instructions in the flask. You should follow the instructions in the bottle of the medicine. Okay, and each Dharma gate shouldn't be combined with the other one. If you follow Zen, then just follow Zen. If you follow esoteric Buddhism, then just esoteric Buddhism. But you start to combine everything. Yes, this is something that is not advisable by any of the great Mahayana masters, not even by Shakyamuni Buddha himself. Remember that Shakyamuni Buddha taught many sutras, and each sutra has its own interpretation. For example, when Shakyamuni Buddha taught, I don't know, the Avatamsaka or the Diamond Sutra, he spoke in some kind of language, and that language has specific meanings. Yes, when he taught about the larger sutra, he spoke in a very poetic way. He spoke about the beautiful trees in the Pure Land. He spoke about duality. He spoke about samsara and nirvana, and the fact that we should aspire to be born in the Pure Land after death. You see? So even Shakyamuni Buddha himself differentiated all the Dharma gates that he taught. So if we become Buddhists, we should never combine all the Dharma gates. Each Dharma gate has its own value. But if we combine all of them, then we can get poisoned. The only people who can teach all Dharma gates without getting confused are the Buddhas themselves. Yes, for us who are still ordinary beings, we should never do that and just follow one path in a very good way. And of course, we should choose the path that is best suited to the times that we live in and to the path and to our current spiritual capacities. And of course, in this last Dharma age, the path that we are encouraged to follow is Amida Buddha's primal vow. Yes. I will read here Essentials of Faith Alone. He says, aside from aspiring from the one land and thinking on the one Buddha Amida, there is no other necessity. People who enter the gate of the Nembutsu but combine it with other practices are attached to their former practices and have difficulty abandoning them. Okay, so we should never practice more than the primal vow. The primal vow contains everything that we need. Okay, one of the things that reveal that a person doesn't have faith in Amida Buddha is a person who is constantly doing one practice, then the other, then this Dharma gate and that Dharma gate. And what you end up with is somebody that is very distracted and somebody that doesn't have the guarantee to be born in the Pure Land because that person lacks Shinjin. Whereas a person who continues to have faith throughout their life without combining it with anything else, that means that a person is on the path of having Shinjin, or he has already himself received Shinjin. Yes? Then Renyo said, since Amida Tathagata is the original teacher and master of all Buddhas of the 3 periods, how can all the Buddhas who are his disciples not rejoice when we rely on that Buddha who is the master? You must understand the grounds for this for this thoroughly. So Master Renyo calls Amida Buddha the master of all Buddhas, in the sense that all Buddhas, even though they are equally enlightened, no other Buddha has a method that is more effective than the primal vow. This is why all Buddhas praise Amida Buddha. Yes? They praise Amida Buddha because the objective of Mahayana is to save all beings in the basis of equality. And the one Buddha that has created the most effective method is Amida Buddha. Okay, so naturally, all other Buddhas and enlightened bodhisattvas are particularly devotional towards Amida Buddha because he has fulfilled and he has made something that no other Buddha has been able to pull off before. An example that we can give is that imagine that we all know mathematics, basic arithmetic. I don't know. You know that 2 + 2 = 4. I know that. Yes. Yoshin knows that. Joso Sensei knows that. Piku, Seijun, everybody here knows that 2 + 2 = 4. Yes. However, there are some people that are more talented at teaching that to children. Yes. And you can even have a PhD. Yes, teaching 2 + 2 = 4 to children. Yes, many pedagogical methods to teach that to children through apples, through little animals, you know. Okay, so Buddhas are the same. They know the same enlightenment, but there are some Buddhas who are better at teaching than others. Yes, they have vows that are more universal than others. In the case of Amida Buddha, he has a method that is most universal because the majority of Buddhas are very good at teaching, but are very good at teaching beings who are very close to enlightenment, or beings who are very intelligent, or beings who are very moral, or beings who have all of that together. But Amida Buddha is very important Buddha because he's the one Buddha that can save even evil beings who are foolish, who have no talent in meditation, who have no talent in morality, and who have no talent in wisdom. Yes, the only Buddha that can save those beings is Amida Buddha. So naturally, since the wish of all Buddhas is to save all beings on the basis of equality, then I think this is why Master Renyo called that Amida Buddha is the master, original master of all Buddhas, because all Buddhas want to be like Amida Buddha and want to help him. Yes, even though they have the same enlightenment, the way that Amida Buddha has to save all sentient beings is unprecedented. Yes, so that is why we could call Amida Buddha like the king of all Buddhas in that sense, in a very poetic way. Yes, this is what I think.